Welcome to episode 25 of Go Low Like a Pro. I'm back here at Kingsfield in Scotland for another lesson with the chain.
To be perfectly honest, you've not picked a very good carpet because of that.
Right, okay, is it all just kind of fighting the grain kind of thing?
Yeah.
Is there a better one you want? Is there?
This one here is probably better.
Okay. I mean, it's, as I say, if we're only going to do half an hour, it's kind of like...
That's
I kind of want to show you what I'm doing. Hopefully it's right. It certainly seems to be working. And then just see what the next stage of improvement is, if you like. There we go. Oh, there we go. We can start now.
That's better.
Oh, there we go. Warm up.
Was that you creaking?
I'm sweet. Quite possibly, to be honest with you. I got up this morning, I was just like, oh, it's all just a wee bit stiff. That was rubbish.
Oh, you knew you were getting filmed that time.
Oh, was I getting filmed?
That's what it was. Well, delete.
Delete, yes. Or send for comedy value, either way. Oh, I promise it's better than this. Oh yeah, it's done really well. Nah.
Sometimes, or you can just, when you know somebody's watching, you can try too hard. I think what we need to, it won't come as a surprise.
Yes.
But the balance.
I don't know.
I feel as if you're pushing quite back on your heels.
Too much now.
You know, that can happen. You can go from one extreme to the other when you're trying to correct.
Wow.
Okay, so that wasn't the last one that you just played, but you can see that. Well, maybe you can't see, but it's very much on your heels.
I can see it even in my
Upper body swing, lovely. But because you started on your heels, it's just difficult sometimes to hold the balance, and you can see the foot moving. But that's good. There's lots of good things happening here. But it's definitely, all the bad shots are going to come from the feet up. Yeah.
Let me see if I can get my balance again, because certainly I think about maybe 2 of the shots I've hit since I've come out today have actually been what I've been doing recently.
Right, good. So toes down. That's better.
That is much better, isn't it?
Well done. I mean, the big challenge would be if you could hold your finish for 5 seconds without falling over. Okay.
I'm sure I can do that. Might not be too interesting to watch for people at home, but...
That's it, toes down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sometimes just making a conscious effort.
To really make sure that you're steady.
Yeah. Hold.
Ooh.
There we go. Rudolf Nureyev is not far away.
That was full on Elvis stuff, that. Not the good stuff we discussed before.
Better.
So I really need to plant that, don't I?
Yeah. I mean, when you're hitting the ball with a lot of club head speed, the tiniest little movement with the feet can
throw it all over the shot.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
Just double check that the balance, that's good. Against, I think if you do slightly less knee bend, there you go. Okay. That's better. That was lovely. That was lovely. So less knee bend.
Less knee bend, cool.
That's better. Even the bad one's better.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Don't need to tell you anything, Jane. Nothing gets by. But it still kind of sailed off-ish, but it wasn't good.
But that, I think I've maybe said this before, it's not how good your good shots are, it's how good your bad shots that makes you the player.
Yeah, I mean,
and then the recovery from it.
Oh, duff it straight is repeated many a time these days.
That's better, less knees, that's good.
That was a bit heavy.
Still a bit, that's better.
I was just getting my going to my usual and then just correcting so that I can piece it together.
I like it.
That's my excuse.
What club are you hitting by?
Just a 7.
7.
I have no idea about yardages or whatever, it's just for a strike really.
Going towards the blue?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Was it not obvious, Jane?
Well, it was, but I was just double checking. This is where your carpet's pointing you, so it's a
Okay.
guideline. Good. Now we're cooking with gas.
Just a slightly flatter plane, I think.
Well done. The quality of strike was very good, just a wee draw in it, wasn't there?
Yeah, well, I mean, I've found I've not developed that, but I've reinforced that, if you like, quite a lot with all the playing about I've been doing. It's become my fairly stock shot.
Okay.
Is that it's got a wee slight draw.
Are you quite happy with that, like the wee draw?
Yeah. I mean, I say that, every now and again it still goes to the right, and every now and again it still goes straight down the good.
Well, we are human after all.
Exactly.
Excellent. I'm pleased with this though.
I hoped you would be.
Yeah, very pleased.
As I say, I've kind of only really found it over the last couple of rounds. For all the other stuff I was doing, it was still a wee bit of a hit and hope. And then admittedly I was getting into this position and getting like, okay, weight in the heels and all this, which was what we were working on right at the start, because it was too forward. So I was like, okay, get in there. And then the massive change was just literally not trying to think about my backswing.
Yes.
And just stopping when it felt like stopping, because I think certainly, you've seen me doing this.
Oh, I mean, the difference is incredible. Well chuffed.
So now it's like massively slowing it down and just sort of going, okay, I'm going to here and doing that.
Oh wow, look at that.
And I'm losing no distance.
No, you don't, that's the thing.
In fact, I might even be gaining distance, because it's certainly so much more controlled for a start, which means that even if it is a bad one, it's still not much off that bad one, as opposed to anything.
But that's the art and the discipline of golf, isn't it? It really is
replicating
being
it and consistent.
Relaxed, and you can have a fast swing or a slow swing as long as your muscles are soft. The minute we try to guide it down or try to really force it, that's when the muscles tend to, and that's when we get a disaster.
Well, I mean, certainly I sent a few videos to one of my mates down south who plays off foot 4, because I was just sort of saying, look, while I was at Dunbarton one, I was like, I've just started swinging really slow. Well, for what feels very slow, but even when I watch it, it actually isn't necessarily that slow. But the fact that it is, it's still a full swing. Doesn't feel like a full swing. It's still a full swing, and it's you can see that my upper torso isn't doing any of this nonsense, which is a huge start. I mean, to be honest, that was the one little takeaway I was going with, which was just make sure that my spine stays straight and wrist rotates around it, so there's nothing else happens, and it doesn't matter if my swing goes to here and it stays straight. So that was my one swing thought, rather than going into 10 or 11 or whatever.
Oh no, one's enough.
I was sort of thinking that was my one thought. So if I get in, make sure that I get in the right position to start with.
Good.
And then just think, right, round the spine.
And that's the thing. It's your setup's pre-swing, and everybody has to take their time with that.
Well, yeah, I mean that's.
And the frustrating thing with setup is you can go through a certain routine every time. You think you're doing exactly the same,
and you're not.
And we can just start to, especially with the posture. I know I have a slow puncture.
Right.
I can start off, and then as the round goes on, I tend to cut, and then you think, I'm getting too close to the ball.
The camera's getting this, Jane. If not, can you just show me again here, please? Because I'll edit it out, but everyone's going to love this. Go for it. Right, so tell me about your slow.
I've got a slow puncture.
Yep.
So I can start off on the course, up nice and tall, hands below my sternum.
Yeah.
And the more shots I play, the more holes I play, I go. And then I think, I'm getting too close to the ball now, and I end up getting further away.
Right.
And the shot that I hit when I do get too far away is I get a little bit thin.
Right.
As everyone does now and again, get those finger stingers. It's horrible. And that's the warning sign. I've lost my posture again.
Right, okay. But so it takes you almost those 2 moves to realise it though. So the first thing you'll do is you'll step back.
Yeah, and I haven't realised that until I hit a thin shot. And
Right.
then I thought, oh, come on. And I think I've probably done that for years now.
Okay.
It's just...
I mean, that was the thing. I mean, certainly the round at King's Barnes, I don't know, it was almost autopilot in terms of how I was playing tee to green at that point. And then I don't know if I started thinking too much, trying to fix it or whatever, but for about the next 5 holes, there was all kinds of nonsense going on, and it wasn't until the back 9 I was like, right, as you say, whatever my slow puncture was, went on the back 9, I was like, right, slow down and just go around the spine. And And then I went out and basically went 5 or 6 pars in a row around there as well. So it's sort of like, you know, just being aware of what the issues are, I suppose. But that's the other thing. I'm not going to play golf for a few days after this, and I'm just hoping that when I go back out again, I haven't forgotten it again. So I'll be watching this back again.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm happy with that. You want to try something a wee bit longer?
Sure.
Very happy with that. I think the more you play, if you can recognise the shot that you're hitting and you know what caused that, what a difference that makes. My father always said golf was a game of memory, because you've got to remember
what you did or how you did it and whatnot. Yeah.
And the thing is, even if you've convinced yourself, no, I've corrected that fault, it couldn't possibly be that.
It probably is.
It really is. When I used to go to wee tournaments, even as an amateur, my dad always knew I would forget. I'd be practising, and I would open my scorecard holder, and in it there'd be a wee note from my dad, remember to, and it'd just have 1 or 2 bullet points for me. And I thought, oh God, I forgot about that.
Driver, 3 wood, 7 wood, what would you like?
Well, you got a 7 wood?
Got 7 wood.
Oh, go on, let me see that.
I've never seen a 7 wood before, Jane.
Oh, you know, it's a club that I quite fancy getting myself. I'm not a hybrid person. Excellent.
Not so excellent. Excrement.
It's straight.
That's true. And to be honest, in these conditions, that would probably have ran for quite some time. Certainly around the links courses.
Exactly. Would you normally play the ball near the centre, or?
I think so. I mean, that's just naturally where I kind of do it. I suppose I could move it forward and do that. Yeah,
because being a wood, you know, slightly further forward would be my preference anyway. I wish I could get a 2-iron, but they don't seem to be as popular these days.
Yeah, sure, you'll find one on eBay.
I'm sure.
You'll absolutely find one on eBay if you go looking for one.
But I was thinking either that or a 7 wood.
Do you want to hit one?
No, thanks.
Go on.
No.
Give the fans a treat.
The older I get, the better I used to be.
Well,
that's one of those ones.
That's the one miss that keeps creeping in.
The one to the wee bit to the left.
I'm just getting a wee bit too swingy roundy.
And make sure your hips are level with your toes. Sometimes you're standing a tiny wee bit open with the hips. Pull your right hip back a wee bit. There you go.
Oh, okay.
So nice hip turn, good shoulder turn, but just forgot to move your body weight over.
I kind of struggle with that, Jane, actually. I mean, that's one of the things, because when I was doing quite a bit of practice on it and I was doing all this,
and it's
really difficult to do it.
For an iron it's fine, but for the woods it's more important to get that wee bit more body shift.
Right.
But remember, it's adjustment of weight. It's not a sway.
That's what I'm struggling with. That's what I'm struggling with, because I find it very difficult to get to that point without sort of taking my weight over there, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Because one thing we don't want is, as I give you one more thing to think about that
knocks the last one off.
Yeah. Because I mean, even women can't multitask in golf. It's one thing at a time. So there's no disgrace. You can't. It's impossible, isn't it?
I'm literally just, pick one and get on with it kind of thing.
Absolutely. Whether it's right, wrong, or indifferent, it keeps your mind focused.
Because certainly with setup, you can go through it bit by bit. So you can go, okay, right, is the club face at the right point? Is my hands a bit further back than they used to be? And I'll get maybe that sort of position there, and then I can go, right, okay, well, a little bit less knee bend, relax the shoulders. Good. I can do all this, and then at this point it's swing slow, spine straight.
Good. And there it is. Perfect.
So that's my thought process. Perfect, you said.
Perfect.
How are we doing for time? Should we go putt?
We'll go putt.
Yeah.
Let's go.
So Jane seems quite happy with how my swing work is progressing. I've got a couple more things to go away and work on, and fingers crossed keep working on that improvement and bringing that handicap down. Now, as you'll have seen from the last couple of weeks, the main problem with my scoring at the moment has been on the putting green. So in part 2 of this episode, I'm going to get Jane to have a look over my stroke and make sure that it's going in the right direction as well. Till then, be good, and if you can, shout for it.